Profit travel group Flight Centre has remained flat at around $140 million, despite the best year of sales in its 30-year history. While the domestic business performed strongly, the underperforming US unit dragged earnings down. Emily Stewart reports.
The number of Australians heading overseas for their holidays is on the rise, and it's not hard to see why.
By historic standards, the most affordable airfares have ever been. So that's really encouraged the retail public to get out there and purchase, and certainly the corporate part of the market has been very strong this year as well.
And I think that higher Aussie dollar versus the US has certainly helped Australians get the urge to go overseas once again.
But for one of the country's largest travel agents, Flight Centre, it hasn't translated into record net profits. Flight Centre posted roughly the same net profit as last year, $140 million. Revenue, though, is up 4% and total transactions are up 12% to a record $12 billion.
Somewhere in there you're looking at some shaving of the margins, which would be understandable in terms of a very competitive marketplace and many of the markets in which they operate being quite severely tested economically at the moment.
Flight Centre is now a global brand with operations in 10 countries. Chief Financial Officer Andrew Flannery says profits are flat because of a huge write-down in goodwill in the US business.
The USA business, whilst it finished in the black for the first time this year, which we're pleased about, still underperformed from where we thought it would be. That made us seriously consider the goodwill that we're currently carrying, and we decided that it was probably appropriate to reduce that goodwill by about $30 million.
The high Australian dollar has also had a negative impact, shrinking the profit from the overseas operations when exchanged into Australian dollars. The domestic travel market too is suffering as people prefer to head overseas.
The domestic market's now competing against a lot of international markets, whether it be Vanuatu, Cook Islands, New Zealand, Bali, Fiji. They're all very, very affordable at the moment.
Flight Centre's result has also been buffeted by a number of natural disasters.
It's been a pretty tough year, and for the company to actually come out with a record result, it's fantastic. We've had volcanoes, we've had floods, we've had tsunamis, we've had all sorts of natural disasters causing the travelling public to be wary, and as a result, to come out with such a good number has been fantastic for the company.
Flight Centre has an optimistic outlook, predicting growth of 10% in the next year. But aviation analyst Peter Harbison warns economic conditions remain volatile.
Travel is one of the discretionary items that goes pretty quickly when things do get tight.
Flight Centre will deliver a final dividend of 48 cents, taking the total for the year to 84 cents.